This is Diesel We the People News. Alrighty, this video is without recourse, and I'm reserving all my rights in the whole wide world, okay, people? Alrighty, I'm not attorney nor care to be attorney. I got a ball and chain. She is my best friend. I don't need another ball or chain to the queen. Alright? This is another video of pass-through scheme, okay? And does it do with the 4D program? I don't know. You decide. Okay? I'm thinking outside the box because I never look just straight forward. I always look around me to be able to protect myself by any means necessary, people. Alright? You already seen how this world began by always just going straight forward. You keep doing the same crap over and over and over. You definitely do not get a different results, and it makes you insane. Alright? The insane people keep doing the same thing. I'm thinking outside the box, and how does an insane person call me insane if I'm not one of the sheep locked up in the gates? I'm roaming outside the fence, alright? I'm checking out the whole wide world while everybody else is feeding grass inside this little gate and getting shaved. Alrighty, let's play this. Here we go.
Of the appeal, though, the VA learned for the first time that the teaming agreement between Mr. Singleton and Mr. Bryan compromised BCE's eligibility as an SDVOSB to begin with, because they're passing through the entire job. So basically what they're saying here is Bryan's case highlights just how little tolerance there is for concerns who misrepresent themselves to gain SDVOSB set-aside contracts. And guys, I'm speaking to you. This is for any set-aside type contracts. Not only can the government impose fines, jail terms, other penalties, but the underlying contract can also be considered void from the beginning. Oh, and speaking of jail time, it says Mr. Singleton was sentenced to 2 years in prison back in 2013. So let's take a look at this one and unpack this a little bit. So we have Jerry Bryan, our 100% service-disabled, Marine,
4D,
who owns BCE, and then on the other hand,
Attorney
we have Mr.
General,
Singleton. They told us back in
and judges, and we the people.
2006, Jerry was hired to be a subcontractor in construction for Mr. Singleton, but at some point a teaming agreement did occur for once Mr. Singleton realized Jerry's opportunity to go after service-disabled contracts. Mr. Singleton said, Jerry, why don't you start bidding? I'll do all the work, and you just pay me. Pay me to the tune of 90% of the profits and cover all of the costs, and I will do all of the work. So this is why this was a pass-through. Guys, I want you to remember this phrase: follow the money. Where is the money going versus where is the money supposed to go? So the government sets aside lots of money.
Yeah. Alright, people. Where is the money? The state of Texas got $480 million per year. Or billion. When you get that price, it don't really matter. Alright? So, who is winning on this? Alright? Just saying. Again.
For small business set-aside contracts. And that's because they're trying to incentivize small businesses. The government's trying to pump money into services.
The government is trying to incentivize the district attorney general so they get that $481 million every year. All right? And you're the one is trying to collect your work check is, not getting any of it, or very little. I don't know, people. Y'all sit and think about it.
Disabled veteran-owned small businesses. The government's trying to help them. Government's trying to give money for contracts that are set aside for people like Jerry. But what Jerry is doing is taking the money and giving 90% of it over to Mr. Singleton, who should not be getting the money. And this is why the government has such a big problem.
Yeah, flip that around a little bit, right? The Attorney General is giving the money to the state treasury on top of taking the 4D program money and stick it in the state treasury. Why your ex-spouse is, getting what, 20% maybe? I mean, so think about it. If the Attorney General is getting to 66% and maybe more than that, depends how wealthy you are. The attorneys are the ones making all the profit, by the way. They see how big your checks are. This is the reason why they want your income. And so these attorneys can figure out exactly how long they can keep you in this court status. Okay? It's not, I say it's not the money, but it is, okay? It's not for the benefit of the kid whatsoever. It's definitely not that. And there may be a little bit of benefit for the ex. Meanwhile, who's paying all this is going to be in the poor shack. Just saying.
With something like this, and that's why, follow the dashed lines now, they call it a pass-through, and only a little bit of the money is sticking to Jerry, and most of it is going to Mr. Singleton. So this is what you don't want to do. So one more example for you guys, and this example includes large businesses since we haven't focused on that yet. So I want you to understand how this pass-through scheme can work from either side. Either way, it's wrong and illegal. So this third example talks about the Department of Transportation's Disadvantaged Business Entity Program, the DBE program, and they're saying large business had to pay back $5 million because it has participated in a pass-through scheme. So they're saying, according to the Department of Justice, this Waterworks, HD Supply Waterworks company conspired with subcontractors to list a now defunct Native American-owned company as a subcontractor, when in fact the subcontractor's work was passed through to Waterworks. So according to the press release in 2000...
Okay, that jumped to a different one now. Alrighty. Anyway, ran that one a little through. Okay? I don't know, y'all. Sit and think about it. Follow the money. Who's making the most money? Is your ex making that money? No. Okay? And maybe contract with, medical and this, that, here, and there. But sit and think about it, men and women. If you got to pay for insurance, especially the medium class and the rich, why does the government have to be involved in your affairs, right? It's the money that they get to keep, okay? Especially if your spouse and both of y'all are doing well off on your own. Why isn't it 50-50? You got to ask these questions. I can kind of see the state taking a little money when you're on state assistance, okay? I can kind of see that. However, if the man's wealthy enough, he needs, or a woman, has to take care of the offspring. This is not complicated. You make them, so you support them. However, the state does not need to be in your private affairs, and every time we wake up, the more and more we wake up, people, the government is intervening in our private affairs. In public, there's no such expectation of privacy, but there is such things as overzealousy. All right, the government does not need to put drones in the skies and follow everybody around and record us. That's overdoing it, y'all. Period. Maybe for safety and all that, but once again, that's not the government's job. The government's job is one task only, is to uphold our rights. Okay? That is the main function of the government, is to protect our rights. And we just absolutely, seems like every time somebody farts, there's going to be 911 called out there. That's ridiculous. Depending on the government that much, it's just insanity. Period. You guys are freaking nuts when somebody will fart and you guys call the cops. I'm not saying you specifically out there. I'm just saying there's people out there that literally does that, okay? So anyway, this is These We the People News. Till next time, y'all. Bye. Never, never, never look straight forward. Always look around you.